right, so I'm here with AmmoSquared, and we are going to talk about how it's not a scam. But honestly, we're going to just discuss like how it works and why the system is trustworthy and why you might want to have a secondary cache location for your ammunition or a way to budget properly to have additional ammunition on hand and start building a stockpile even if you can't necessarily afford to buy like one box of ammo at a time from the store or something along those lines, right? So can you kind of introduce yourself a little bit and then just let everybody know?
I'm Danielle Morton. I'm co-founder to AmmoSquared. Yeah, it's okay. We've been around for 10 years. My husband and I started the company in our garage, shipping small boxes of ammo to customers, and we've grown and grown. We're now in 2 different states. We have a location in Texas as well as Idaho. And really the premise of what we do is we want to help you build a stockpile. So, and it's budget friendly. You can pick any budget that you want. You can pick the intervals at which you're paying. You then tell us when you want it shipped. Some people get shipments every month. Some people get shipments once a year. The point of it really is just to help Americans stockpile ammunition for the times that, for when they need it. Not everyone should have all of their ammo, at home. Because, let's say you've got, a cache at home of ammo and there's a hurricane and your basement floods and everything's ruined, or your house burns down, or, now you've got a secondary backup. Maybe you just want to keep a certain level at home and a certain level elsewhere, and then once that level at home hits, let's say you like to keep 5,000 rounds and you hit 2,500, that's just too low for you. Then you get the ammo you've been accumulating from AmmoSquared, you get that shipped to you.
Right.
And you don't have to set a shipping trigger, but we encourage you to. And you just let us know when you want it, and you hit that button, ship my ammo, and we will ship it to you because we physically have it in our warehouse. If you have it in your inventory, we physically have it in our warehouse.
And so one of the things that I thought was interesting is I believe the conversation I was having with Bob previously was about how for all the ammo you have, like in every single person's account, you have that accounted for.
Yes.
And more, right? Like there's something like an extra 100,000 rounds or something like that?
Yeah.
Right, okay, and that's important because people have this idea that like it's like a bank, right? Where you give them $1 and then they loan out 10,000.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
we do not do fractional banking.
Yeah.
we do.
That's
we
good.
do not do that. So we have it physically in our warehouse, ready to ship. All manufactured new. We don't manufacture. We don't buy remands. It's all good stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And then one of the things too is like, yes, it's good for stockpiling. It's good to have that additional cache that's off-site in case there's an emergency or any type of natural disaster, right? But the other thing is that it also works if you're on a training regimen. Or like, if you're shooting 1,000 rounds a month, you can budget for that, have it stored up and ready to go, and then every month have that 1,000 shipped right to you, and it's automated. Like you don't have to go find it, and it's already being allocated. So if there is a sudden shortage or something happens, like, well, I've already got, M193 stashed, I just ship it to me, versus like trying to suddenly source it when everybody else is on the same page.
Well, COVID was a really big test for our business, because, stores were dry. They ran dry. There was no ammo to be found. But our customers who'd been stockpiling, they just said, hey, ship me my ammo.
Right.
And people were asking, where are you getting this ammo? It's like, well, I've been buying it for 2 years from AmmoSquared. You should have been doing that too. So it was really, a massive test. And then, it was still hard for businesses to get ammo. So we waited in line for the customers. And so they would pay their subscription or their auto buy. And if we didn't have it in stock, we would wait for that for them.
Okay.
So we would put it in what was called pending. And so, and the only reason we had to do that was because even the manufacturers were running dry. There was, millions of new gun owners who were buying, tens of millions of rounds of ammo.
Right.
So it really put a strain on our supply chain.
Right, of course.
And so,
and everybody was affected.
Everybody was affected, right? But some folks said, hey, you know what? I just want a refund, and I'll go find my ammo, and then they usually would come back and wait in line because we were waiting in line for them. We had that direct line with the manufacturers.
Right, and you guys are going to get first priority because you're a direct sales distributor basically. So
we're going direct with manufacturers, so they had their allocations. They would allocate it to us, and then we would give it to our customers.
Right. Yeah. And so the kind of like the way it's all formatted is that the money is allocated for certain types of ammunition, but not like specialized ammunition, right? So it's premium self-defense or hunting.
Right. We call it a purpose. It has a specific purpose. So, we've got 9mm practice ammo. We've got, 5.56 practice ammo or 223 self-defense. We do offer
or
hunting.
match grade.
Match grade.
Right.
You know, we have subsonic, right? So you're basically buying a caliber and a purpose, and then we will give you a mix. So so we send you a mix of brands. You know, all trusted brands. Some you may never have heard of, but they're really fantastic.
Okay.
Really fantastic options. You know, we found some really awesome like self-defense rounds that, I mean, are just top notch, and so we'll put that in the mix so that you can try it.
Yeah.
And maybe you're gonna, you know, you don't see this in your local store because it's a little bit hard to find, but we have a direct line with them, and we can let you try that. So.
Well, and part of that, at least you know, from my understanding, is that. Because it averages out the cost per round, right?
So it's a blended price.
Right.
Yeah.
So like in order to maintain that lower level of cost, like you guys are accessing the ammunition that's like available or affordable in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
So and that's where those costs come from. But you can see that in your account. Like if the costs go up, you can see how much you paid based on timing. So like if you had an account,
average price.
like if your account was from 2019, in 2020 you would have realized like how much actually you
when 9mm was going
saved
up to
on.
60 cents a round, and you bought it at 20, or you know 16, 17 cents a round.
Okay.
So you can see what you bought it at. We even have a price tracker on our site for each of the calibers and purposes, and what it is that, you know, it'll be like a high price, a low price, and then where the median, and then where we're at. We're typically just a little below the median price for ammo. So we're not the cheapest game in town, but you do get a blend, and
but
we
it's
do
also
store it for
storage.
you. Yeah, we store
right.
it
I mean,
for
you
as
gotta
well,
buy a storage unit if you store stuff, and that costs money, right?
And that costs money. Yeah.
So if I go on my account right now and I buy 500 rounds of 5.56, I can ship it right then, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's the same as buying ammo anywhere else.
Yeah, it's no different.
Right.
I
But
mean,
I also can store it.
But you can store it. That is an option. And our average customer stores ammo with us for about 4 months before they have it shipped. So they're more breaking down the price of that case of ammo over 4 months, and then they have it shipped. So it's more, you know, it helps with budget, because especially if you're trying to have a prepared household, right? You have to purchase other things that you're going to need to have available, and so it kind of helps. It just kind of helps prevent that from being too expensive or too hard on your budget.
Right. Yeah. Or even just difficult in the sense of like moving it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and that was a big concern people had, and I get it, because you know, people are very cautious about things that they don't have tangible.
Right.
You know,
they want it in your hand.
Right. They want to hold it. Right. The same with gold and silver. We don't want certificates.
Right.
You know, we want 1 ounce
deal.
rounds in my hand. You know.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that, because like you can just buy ammo.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be somewhere. Like So, and I think that's an important thing to kind of showcase, right?
Yeah.
My understanding is like right now you guys have over 100,000 customers, right?
Over 100,000 all over the country.
Wow, that's awesome. So, and I assume they all feel pretty good about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. From what I hear,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot of stuff, and you know, I think we got that clarification. Just because I want to make sure everybody understands how things work and be transparent.
And if anyone has any questions, we have actual, you know, human beings that can answer your question. We have a customer service team. They're fantastic. They work hard, and they can answer any questions that anyone has. So,
Well, and when I first signed up, I mean, I got walked through everything. I had questions. I needed help in the interface. You know, I was like, why can't I do this thing? You know, it's like, well, because you're not very smart. You know, but
it's just different, right? It's
right. I had to learn my way through it, but there was a support there for that. Versus, you know, like having to talk to a chat bot that never responds, and then no one ever gets on the phone, right? So it was nice to be able to see that process. And usually when I start with a new company, like I literally like approach it as if I'm just some random guy, even if we work together, because I just want to see how that interaction works out, you know. And everything was good to go. So well, I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you for helping me clarify things. And yes, you should be stockpiling ammo. I think we can all agree on that, right? Yes. Awesome. Thank you.